How's it going? I'm joined by KK. He's been on the stream before. You've heard us talk about our friend KK. He's local, obviously. We didn't fly him out here for this. The reason KK is on the stream today is because we are covering a different game that we actually don't normally cover. Have never painted on stream before, so we're pretty excited for this, which is Battletech. At my prompting, I've asked KK to actually help me pick. You actually literally helped me pick out my Battletech models. We're going to talk today about Battletech. I'll show you guys where I'm at. KK has a ton that he's already painted, and like a million of them in front of him right now. It looks like you were kind of ambitious with how many you thought you were going to get through today. You have like 20 there.
I mean, I don't need to get them all done.
Yeah. Hey, we do want to remind you, if you're new, give the video a like, give us a subscribe, and turn on alerts if you're so brave to be able to see us and what we're up to. Okay, KK, let's jump in. Talk to us about what you're doing. Actually, here, we'll look at yours. You kind of started off here, and then I'll show you guys where mine are at. I'll pass one to KK. Talk to us about what's the difference, first of all, between a Battletech Mini and a Citapla, a Citadel miniature.
So this is a Wolfhound. It's like a light medium mech. This is like one of the larger mechs.
Yeah.
This is about as big as it gets. So the main one is they just come straight like this. This is just primed.
This is it.
And zenithilled. But, no assembly required. Usable out of the box as is.
They're even glued onto the bases.
Yeah,
actually.
so zero effort, right? You can pick up and play immediately.
Yeah.
With just the box and 2d6s.
That's it. That's also right. You only use 2 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. KK, let me pass maybe one of mine that I think I mostly finished. I still need to do the basing and maybe some cleanup. I'm going to pass this little guy. I forgot that there's a Space Marine chapter called Howling Griffins, and I accidentally painted my entire mech army to look like Howling Griffins. That's a Blackjack. I'm starting to learn what these guys are called. Blackjack. Mm-hmm. Here's my Trebuchet. He's got a little missile setup there. So there's the Blackjack and the Trebuchet. I'm going to do like a gray basing, I think, scheme with like some green grass. Keep it pretty simple. And then I guess here I'll pass this guy. This is the big guy I think I mostly finished. Archer? No,
this is the Stalker.
Stalker. Okay.
Oop, how do I...
There's the Stalker. Yeah, I used a lot of inks. I used a lot of dollar rounding inks on these, and painted them very quickly. So I have 12 mechs that I've ordered. I'll talk to you about how I got those and how I got to that number. 6 of them are like kind of done, and then I'm going to work on the other 6 today, I'm thinking. Okay, now another thing KK and I are going to do, a special thing. We don't often drink on stream, but we're going to today because KK and I happen to both be fans of weird brown liquor, cognacs, not Scotch, right? Do you like Scotch?
I brought one over. Well, no, I like the Japanese whiskey. But
Japanese whiskey's good, but not Scotch is weird. Okay, so we've been doing cognac. Now the one to beat is the Costco one, which you brought over last time.
Yeah.
KK brought over for a hobby night. So we're gonna have a little bit of this. This is Bordeaux. By a French guy. I'm not sure the name. How's your French, KK? De Fusini? Fusini? Do you feel like you know how to pronounce French things better than me?
No.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. So, okay, we're going to have a little cognac while we play sophisticated game. While we play for a sophisticated game of Battletech. Now, I will say... Okay, cheers. I will say, it's nice, that I've been making fun of Battletech a lot for how grognard he is. How is it?
Yeah, good.
Better or worse than the...
Unfortunately, it's been like a couple of months, so I've got like no recollection of the last one.
Me either. It is good, though. It is
completely good. Unhelpful for a review.
Yeah, so... I've been kind of joking about BattleTech and about how it's kind of like an ultimate grognard game, I feel like. But I've been wanting to play something that like really gets me into like the full experience of I don't know how to describe it, like being a grognard, like a really intense like
I feel the closest it's this or it's Infinity.
Infinity.
And
Really,
this is more approachable than Infinity.
really.
Yeah.
Oh, so we should be painting and playing Infinity then, is what you're saying? No,
It's
Infinity.
just different. Like, you have stuff like you can throw smoke bombs so people can't see you as you walk into line of sight. But then if you have, like, thermal sensors, you can see the smoke.
Oh,
you can see
there's-
through it.
okay.
And then, like, there's layers to this, right?
Right.
Of, like, I think you can flashbang them and then blind the guy if they got the thermal. And then
In
there's-
Infinity.
Yeah, so, like, it's just, like, layers of like, ways to counter people.
No, okay, so tagged
Oh.
tagged says Napoleonics is more grognardy than
Well,
this.
that's the ultimate, right? When you start wearing tweed and, like, leather patches. Yeah. But no one wants to go down that road.
Let's toss out a couple of quick thanks. Thanks to Soups almost always gifts a membership. We super appreciated it. As always, Soups. And Soups also sent me today some White Dwarf old AOS missions, which I'm excited we're going to play a few of them on stream. And thanks to Cass. Cass, haven't seen you in a little bit. He gifted 5 memberships and then 1 more. Thank you for the 6 gifted memberships, Cass. Super appreciate it. I know there's probably a bunch of Scotch drinkers in here because we have a decent UK crowd. I'm trying to. I will admit there are some Scotches that recently I've been like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. I'm just up to now not sure like what's so exciting about Scotch. I don't know. How do you feel about
Peat? That's the main thing, right? They use
Right.
like a peat moss.
Yeah.
and I don't know.
That seems right. That's kind of my instinct. Is like, is that a flavor I want? It's not a flavor I've sought after. It's not a flavor I've been lacking in my life. You know, I'm like,
I feel like you need a sample and like compare.
yeah. Boy, I sure could go for something that tasted like peat moss. Never said that once in my life.
It's not supposed to be the overwhelming flavor profile. It's just supposed to be like, you know, you need to be cognizant thereof.
Yeah, I think you're right. So KK was kind enough. I really wanted to get the Battletech miniatures. So KK kind of functioned as like an input computer for me. I told him my play style. I was like, I want some fast things that are, if sneaky is a thing in Battletech, I don't know if it is. I want fast, sneaky things. I like long range. Melee is melee. Melee's like kind of.
I have a mech with an axe.
Oh wow! I haven't seen a melee thing yet. Oh wow! Yeah, it's like a little power axe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's vibro
Here,
swords.
show them on the camera. I wanna.
This is the Night Sky, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
So he
that's
comes-
what it's called, Night Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Vibro swords, like in Star Wars.
Yeah. Except, you know, these are like 10-ton weapons, and you
Right.
can like take out the side of a building with one.
Right.
Just like, you know, Pacific Rim-esque.
I am not. Yeah. Okay. But melee, you were also saying, or I think Brett might have been saying, because Brett and our friend Bryce, who's also been on stream before. You guys may remember him as the one who showed up dressed like a hot dog. The 4 of us are scheming to do a Battletech, thing soon, and I think Brett was saying that melee is like kind of not like a big deal. Like you can get away from melee kind of easily. Is that
Well,
fair?
when you, like, your big guy only moves 3 hexes, and turning costs you a hex.
So big guys maybe not, but like
I mean,
little guy-
sometimes you just can't stop it, right? Like,
okay,
you just see
someone's
it
like
coming.
coming right at you and
Yeah.
you. Okay, like a few turns in advance, like you.
It's like seeing the log, right? You know it's coming.
Right,
It's a
right.
matter of how well you can only backpedal so fast.
Got it. Okay.
And it depends on your mission objectives.
Like
I mean,
if you need to be somewhere, you're not really in a
Yeah.
position to run away from. Got it. Yeah, Anyway, I basically told KK a play style, and he was like, "How many do you want to buy?" I was like, "I don't know. How expensive are they?" Expecting them to be very expensive. Can you hand me this box, KK? Or yeah, this is the box they come in, right? You get 4 of them.
4 to 5.
And are they themed? Are the boxes kind of themed?
Yeah. They
Like-
usually have like a roll, or like, you know, like the one you got was like the long range set, right? You had the longbow, the stalker, and 2 little light mechs.
Yeah. And then the other one I got was like almost all light mechs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the striker box, which was
Okay.
about fast, zippy, small guys.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and so you were like, cool, buy these 4 boxes. And
Three,
so
yeah.
three boxes. So I bought the 3 boxes. I think grand total was like $60, something like that. Maybe a little more, but in between 60 and 70. It's a pretty inexpensive game to get into.
Yeah, you probably can. Well, you can also up your points cost by increasing your pilot score, which further lets you save money if you don't want to get more mechs. Just make your pilots better.
Oh, Suray's the other guy we need to get in on this. We need to have Suray input his playstyle for you, and do the same thing. His playstyle is like he likes salamanders.
What, like noble, like champions of humanity, kind of, or democracy?
I don't know what his lore style is, but I know his playstyle is like he wants to like close. I think he likes like close range, aggressive firefighting stuff.
He wants to brawl.
I don't know if he actually wants melee or if he'd prefer just like close, like deadly shooting.
So far, what we've stuck is... Oh, is that Suray?
That's the right there. King Crab. Oh, wait. Is there one called a King Crab? There's a King Crab mech?
Yeah, I have one right here.
Oh, wait. Let's look at him.
Oops.
Oh, my God. Wait, that is the
He has pincers.
Guys, I'm sorry. That is
2 AC-20s.
That is
in
the
each...
dumbest looking mech. I don't like this style of mech. You and I were talking about this the other day.
This is like my favorite mech in the game.
Really? Like visually? Or just...
Just like, because like when you use it in like MechWarrior 5, it's the most satisfying thing.
This guy is super cool. Hold him up.
This is the signature for MechWarrior 4, right?
I was going to say, he looks familiar. He looks like
This
a
is the
mech.
Timberwolf. This is the poster child of the franchise.
King
Well,
Crab does not look awesome. Go back to King Crab, please, one more time. I mean, honestly, there's some cool painting opportunity on here on top of the head. You can do a lot of cool stuff. It's okay. I for whatever reason, I'm not the biggest fan of the flat head thing. One of mine is called a Jenner. Can I hand the Jenner to you? I actually need to finish him.
There's also the Jenner 2C.
The Jenner is like a fast little, like, tiny dude, but I don't like that, like, flat head coming out of the chest look. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, like, not my thing. So, anyway, we need to find some... We can find some a play style for Suray, and you can have a whole army, maybe more than you would need for $60, which is kind of fun.
You get a full company for $60.
That's what I have, a company?
I mean,
Is that what it's called?
you have more than one lance, right? A lance. So the lore is that like the.
Oh yeah.
So,
So, wait, hold
like-
on. Wait, hold on. Okay, tell us.
So the lore is that like you have these things called like drop ships, right? So like they come in and like so that's why lance is 4 is because that's usually like what you can deploy out of a single one. Like it's like think like night drop castles, right?
Wait, what's a drop castle?
For 40K. So like drop castles are like how they like deploy like knights to a planet.
Okay, I actually don't think I knew that.
So like you know how like the Titans have the little giant carriers, like knights can come in through drop pods.
Okay.
And so like it's like a drop pod full of knights for like a knight household.
Okay.
But it's the same thing with like when you see in Battletech, like there's these giant what the hell is it? It's like a Dominion class. But anyways, like normally like you see like the Argo in the video game, and like you know it's like a shuttle. It lands, 4 guys walk out, and then you go off, and that's why like most lance sizes are 4. So it's like your party size.
Okay.
So Battletech also has like an RPG mode where people sort of tweak, and you know you're the pilot. You're going off on a mission as a merc company with just 4 dudes.
Oh wait, so if we include Suray in this,
Yeah, you can have a DM. So one guy's running the enemy mechs.
Oh
Each
my God.
pilot's customizing and tuning their own individual mech.
so like you or Brett could DM, like me,
Yes.
Bryce, and Suray, and the other one,
Yes.
and we have like a little adventure.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
you have to go worry about the C-bill cost. Like how rare are these components? They have a chart for this.
Of course. Oh, I want to get into charts.
You have like the probability chart of like what regions, right? Because each power in the game has sort of special twist. You know what factories are in which areas, which are your industrial worlds. So there's an actual like galactic map,
Okay.
and depending on the year, right, different planets are in different people's control zones.
This sounds amazing.
So typically, right, like everything that like Brett wanted is typically like pre 3050, right? Because in 3050, the clan, like spoiler, the clan invades in 3050. Like,
Okay.
this has only been a thing for like
Oh, yeah.
20 years. So
Saray, who's been a member for 8 months, used his free membership super chat to ask, "Are we doing clan or inner sphere?" My guys are all inner sphere.
everyone's, well, I have some clan stuff, but yeah, by and large, it's all inner sphere for ease of getting people into it.
Okay, and here's another question for you then. What is the difference between talk to me like inner sphere versus clan, and Alpha Strike versus non-Alpha Strike?
So Alpha Strike, you have a ruler, you play like 40k. There's
Okay.
trees, like actual physical terrain. Whereas regular, you just have what do you call it?
map?
The hex grid, right?
hex
It's a
grid.
pre-done hex grid.
Right.
Very discreet. You can table flip and set up the game exactly where you were.
Okay.
There's no ambiguity, right? It's a size 2 hill. Doesn't matter how big the mech is. It's you clearly have a size 2 mech, size 2 hill.
Got it.
It's invisible to you. You know what I mean? Like you can't see it. There's no sort of eyeballing it. Very discreet.
Okay. So Alpha Strike is designed. My understanding is that Alpha Strike is supposed to be easier to get into.
You don't have to worry about individual heat, right? So the other element of this is that all your weapons produce heat. Moving produces heat. Using jump jets produce heat.
Okay.
And then certain mechs only can sink. There's a number of heat sinks installed per mech.
Okay.
The minimum is 10. And some mechs, because the design is kind of questionable, can produce so much heat, but they can't dissipate at all. Which it's called Alpha Strike because when you fire all your guns, it's an Alpha Strike. And then some mechs will just go into the red.
Oh, and that kind of the heat mechanic prevents in normal, in standard Battletech, the heat mechanic prevents Alpha Strikes.
Well,
Or
I mean,
discourages them.
depends on the mech. Some mechs have the opposite problem. They put too many heat sinks in and they can't burn all the heat. So it's a heat is another resource.
Okay.
Kind of like command points, but like, just because you have all these guns doesn't mean you can fire every single gun.
Got it.
And then some guns like use ammo, like missiles.
Yes.
And
Yes, please. I want ammo.
And yeah. It matters where you put the ammo, because when you have ammo and you get hit,
you get hit where the ammo is.
Yeah, you go
Yes,
up like
I'm
a
so excited
tinderbox.
for this. Yeah. So I have to say, what I've been saying is that like I've decided, excuse me, in a world of Sigmar, which I think is a pretty elegantly designed, fluid game. It doesn't have nitty gritty stuff. Like the nittiest gritty it gets is this model has the horn, this model has the banner, right?
Yeah.
That's about it. There's not things like smoke bombs, and well, there are things that do stuff like that, but there's a lot of the details are glossed over. A lot of things come down to, hey, at the end of the day, you take D3 mortal wounds. Like that's what's represented here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't like here's the lore behind why you're taking D3 mortal wounds, and now on a 2-up you take D3 mortal wounds. There's no like, well, what's the size of your model versus like a lot of that's gone. I want either that.
You also have locational hit points, right? So
I know,
Here's
yes.
here's a.
I'm so
sheet.
glad you brought this. Okay, and this is for any mech?
No. You need one per mech.
No, but
Like that's specifically
it's
the
a
loadout.
generic mech?
No, it tells you the name. It should
Oh
be.
my god. This is a
Yeah, so this one's just purely for
Victor?
yeah. This one's purely the Thunderbolt.
Oh, I see. Amazing. Oh, I should show these to chat. Here, hold one under the Lumix for a second over there. If you will, KK. Okay, so you have one of the, and this is not RPG mode. This is like when you're actually playing.
I mean, you use both the same thing.
They both use the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This
So
is
you also have
amazing.
critical slots. So weapons take up mass. Certain weapons are too big to fit in certain areas. So what you put in the arms, along with like the hit chance, matters. And then you can see here the little die. So like when you take damage, just because you shot someone in the leg doesn't mean that their gun stops working.
Wait, what are all those little circles? Do I fill those in?
Those are hit points. So you have armor and then you have structure damage.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So when someone hits my leg, I have to fill in those circles?
And then there's also the
nice.
back sheet. So the backside, right? So you
God.
have frontal armor and rear armor. So when someone hits you in the back and you have like crap rear armor,
Oh my god.
you take like internal damage a lot quicker.
This is amazing.
So where you get hit, how you get hit, certain weapons like will sandblast. Like when you shoot missiles, missiles are resolved in groupings of 5 for long range missiles.
Okay.
So when your longbow shoots like 50 missiles at somebody, and let's say 40 of them hit, they can just sandblast all over the mech.
Sandblast. Wait, sorry. Sandblast is like shotgun, just like
Yeah.
splat.
So now that you've wounded the guy everywhere, but you've never punctured a single location.
Okay, and
Right.
so you got it.
So
Is that what like? Okay, this guy is a archer.
No,
Longbow.
that's the longbow.
Longbow. Okay,
Or the SRD-04 if you play like lacrosse. Because
that's a whole nother thing. Okay, all right. And then this guy looks like a guy who sandblasts somebody.
yeah.
This like sandblast.
so what you want
but
is
this punctures.
so
the
you
marauder.
have basically 2 types of weaponry.
Yeah.
You have crit weaponry and you have because something like that fishes for quantity of hits.
Okay.
Because every time you hit a guy, you have to roll a little damage chart.
Yeah.
And then you have something like the AC-20 or like lasers, right, which are more like piercing weaponry because you want to peel back the armor on a location.
Got it.
And then once it's in, you go and fish for criticals because that's the fastest way to kill a mech. Well, headshot.
So if I've done like a cool sheared off your armor on your torso, then this guy becomes scary.
Yeah.
Because then this guy's gonna hit your torso.
Well, he also has just long range, right? So
Right.
he just shoots you anyways. But
Right.
yeah.
But he's extra good if somebody like this
Yeah.
guy looks like his gun shears off.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
wanna,
within a lance, you want a composition of piercing weaponry and crit weaponry.
got it. Fascinating. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Yes. You want to get through the armor, then you want to start going for the internals, and then damage also bleeds over, right? So just because you lose like your leg, like and then like further hits to the leg location move inwards. There's a little chart as to how the damage is resolved.
Interesting.
So once you lose the arm, even if you get hit in the arm, you get hit in the torso, and when that goes, it's the center torso.
Okay. How do you, let me, and by the way, I'm aware that I asked a question earlier, which was clans versus inner sphere. Let's come back to that in a second. My other question that I want to ask is is Battletech actually that complicated? Like, I'm not talking Alpha Strike, but like true Battletech. Do you feel like it is actually like very complex to play?
It gets more annoying with certain weapon types. So you have like the basic arithmetic of as you move, if they moved, your hit brackets for determining your modifiers. That's probably the most annoying part.
Okay.
But after that, like I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, but it's more I would say like if you start doing custom mechs, and like knowing that this thing takes 3 critical slots, how many critical slots you have, how much tonnage that is.
Okay.
And trying to do that by hand, that can be a pain in the ass.
Okay. So
and then it depends on how much it's easy or hard as you bake it, right? Like then you have to factor in like, hey, we want to find this mech. It's filled in these areas. Like, what are the odds? Then you have to salvage it and rebuild it. And then there's C-bills. And then
what's
like
a C-bill?
so like in-game lore, a C-bill is what is it? It's like Comstar dollars, but like it guarantees you, I think
It's a currency.
Yeah, but it's like if the telephone company was like also like the bank.
Okay. I think that is actually in real life what happens. But anyway, go ahead.
So instead of like you have energy credits like in other situations, like this is like I don't know. You have to go through the lore about what Comstar dollars do.
No, that's why you're here. You're going to tell us. Yeah. Hey, wait, real quick before we talk more about BattleTech. I do want to super thank you again, Cass, for gifting even more memberships. There was like a 10 in here, a 5 in here, a 1 in here, getting all kinds of people. Cass, we super appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Post up what you've been working on, man. Even Cass does a lot of photography. He lives in part of the UK that's very beautiful, and walks around and takes pictures that are very good, high quality. Yeah, post up what you've been up to. I think I saw a picture of yours the other day. But we thank you, Cass, as always, for the support. Good to hear from you.
Indeed.
Okay, so what are you painting now? What guy are you painting?
A wolfhound?
Here, we're gonna hop in. We're gonna hop in on what you're up to. Okay. Do I have a wolfhound?
I think so. It came in the striker box.
I do. He's right here.
Yeah.
Is that the panther? No, this is the panther. Those are two of my favorite. I like the Wolfhound and the Panther. a
But
lot.
I think you and I have different poses.
Oh, maybe slightly.
Yeah. So they
that-
do.
yeah.
They re-release variants.
Talk to me about that.
So and sometimes people just like having multiples of the same mech.
Of course, yeah.
It's not like you're put out by another $20 purchase once every couple of months.
Right, right. It's not that expensive of a game to add to.
Yeah. And then some people just do like they've painted one lance up fully for one specific faction. So back to the factions thing, right? The Inner Sphere. So how this whole story
Okay,
goes
Innisphere
down.
versus Clan. Yeah, go ahead. Wait,
So-
hold on. Wait, hold on. Okay.
I forget the exact timeline, but at some point, right, humanity invents the fusion drive and starts
yes.
taking to the stars.
I'm going to interrupt you with some questions. I'm going to ask you questions that maybe our audience would be thinking. Okay. Fair to say, this game takes place in it's an alternate future, kind of like 40K. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So
AI computing, just like how like in Fallout like never really takes off. That's sort of the case here as well.
I only know that somewhat recently because I've been watching the show a little bit.
Yeah. So in Fallout, they never invent the transistor, I think.
Right. Brett was telling me actually about that. Okay. So because they never invented transistor. Okay. Anyway, back to this. So
Yeah.
talk to me about.
So they invent the fusion drive, and then humanity can take to the stars.
Okay.
Except, so yeah, humanity keeps spreading and spreading and spreading, and then at some point, government and taxes and how people want power and control, and that's sort of what reins this whole thing in.
Sure.
Anyways, they form this what's called the Star League, which is sort of like, well everything within like 1 light year jump of Sol is sort of the
Soul is our son.
yeah. What do they call it? That's sort of the core, like what like the height of humanity, and then the various great houses sort of claim big sections of like what's surrounding it. And then there's the periphery, which are sort of like the boonies.
Okay.
But humans being human, like this whole thing falls apart. There's a big civil war. This goes on for quite a while, and then there's like the Dark Ages. But one of the guys, Kerensky, who was sort of the big general at the time of the Star League Defense Force,
Okay.
takes like the best and the brightest, and basically everyone else who wants to bugger off and not get like mired in 200 plus years of civil war,
Okay.
and they go off into the beyond.
Okay.
And those guys eventually come back. Well, he dies along the way, but like his son has this weird like idea of like what it means for like honor, bravery, and like what is the human ideal. And they
Kind of
basically
like Emperor.
yeah, but it's more distorted, right? Because it's like people getting like like these days it's like people romanticizing the past and having these fantastical notions about like when was things better.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of how the clans develop, and then they start doing like
Is it like
eugenics.
Middle Ages Europe? Like, that was
Yeah,
the heyday.
Well, so like they're very honor based.
Knights of
like,
chivalry and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Except there's throwing eugenics programs and this whole thing
So-
of like looking down on like free births
On people, free births are what?
when two people naturally conceive a
Oh,
kid
okay,
versus
okay.
being like all clones.
Oh, that's kind of like Gattaca.
Yeah, well, no, but this is worse than that, right? Like, so, like, to get a last name, right, they got to do some big deed, and then their genes are saved in the gene bank,
Okay.
and then, yeah, so, like, and then it's a caste-based society, everything's predetermined for you.
Okay. Sounds fun.
So they basically become, like, as some people would, like, it's instead of, like, Xenos, right, it's like if humans fought, like, crazy, like, how, like, Morgoth takes elves and turns them into orcs? That's basically what happens with the clans. Like they become this almost like alien society, right? Where the psychology is just completely different. They're just trained from birth with all this crazy stuff, and they're also gene edited, right? So like, you have like these guys like who are the elementals, the guys in the battle armor. They're super big, like they're just crazily like gened up, like super soldiers.
Oh, the people who ride these? No.
Yeah.
Elementals are little space marine guys.
Yeah, but they hop on, and so like you can get for I think like 1 ton or maybe it's a half ton battle armor attachment points, and so they ride along on the mechs, right? And so all Omni mechs come with them. So you can put like an elemental squad on top of like the Timberwolf.
Okay.
And so like they just get off and then like they can just swarm the legs of some other poor sap.
Okay. And that's fun. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
And then that's why like there's also these like, so if we go into more of the advanced rules, they have things like B pods, which are like sort of just like once use pods around the legs just blow up people to stop them from swarming you. Because then you start to make like piloting checks. I think you can try and like roll the mech to shake them off if they're on top of you.
Okay.
But you know, once a bunch of guys with like missile launchers jump on you and start just blasting at you, you can't. You know, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Infantry can be kind of crazy.
Sure. Okay. And there's also tanks and helicopters and stuff too, right? You can get. Well, helicopters you said are coming soon.
Well, there's already rules for them. There's old metal ones.
Okay, but there's like new plastic ones coming out.
Holy crap! 5 more subs.
Oh, thanks, Cass. And actually, before that, he gifted 20 more subs. So, Cass,
Jesus.
Thank you for all your support today. And he said, didn't need that third las rifle section. Thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate you supporting us like that. As always, party lights going. Oh, but you know what? The colors probably changed back. I forgot to...
That's fine.
No, wait. What are they doing? Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Thanks, Cass. And it looks like he's trying to snipe somebody. So, one more gifted membership. We appreciate it. Amazing. People in chat kind of curious who plays Battletech, or do you play Battletech? Are you Battletech curious? I do. The poll addresses this. KK. Actually, I didn't tell you the poll. The poll is, as the inevitable grip of the grognard seizes you, what will you fall to? Battletech, historicals, which is kind of, Napoleonics, I should have said. The next option is sit at a game store and complain. We knew a bunch of people who used to do that. And then finally, the last option is straight to model trains.
So then do you put World War II like Sims as like what is it?
Like Flames of War?
Yeah.
Or
is that a historical?
I think Flames of War is a historical. I have to say, I'm sorry to say. Oh, there's Bryce. Bryce, we were just talking about you. Bryce, we need to link up. Actually, we were announcing interest plans, Bryce, to see if we could commandeer you on Friday for some Battletech. But we'll chat offline. Honestly, at first, KK, when I first started like getting into 40K and then like showed up in Mountain View, and it took me a while to see anyone playing Flames of War in the flesh. I don't know about you. I mean, not outside of like Adepticon, right? Like you're gonna see it at Adepticon, but like, how often have you seen Flames of War at a game castle? Like, I think I saw people playing it once, but I'm not even sure.
Yeah, that's about right.
So, I don't know. I hate to say it because I think Flames of War, I feel like Flames of War was kind of it was like getting up there as like, oh, we might actually take off as like a big deal. But I don't think it ever really did.
Well, I mean, the problem arises from like, there's a finite amount of stuff, right? How many tanks were there in World War II? This is a fixed number. At a certain point,
you can't just make up things.
Yeah.
You can't just make up things, right?
Like you peak.
Right.
You've produced every single thing. There's only so many main battle tanks. We haven't done like World War III yet, thankfully. Like what are you gonna do? Like, you end up going down this road of like, what's that same shit? Those World of Tanks, where like they start taking theoretical designs and just shoving them out the door. Because
that's like bolt action, right? I mean, bolt action is designed to be like a alternative World War II.
Is it? I thought it was mostly the same thing. Are you talking about when it hits like, what is it, 1847? That's when it gets Weird War.
1947.
Yeah. Weird War 3 or 2, and like you've got aliens like Cthulhu and all sorts of, yeah.
Isn't that what bolt action is?
Not the base game.
No, the base game is a World War II game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like like there's only so many tanks, right? You get like a Tiger on one side and a couple like Shermans on the other, and
that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your.
And then you have like fixed scenarios, right? When people have like, it was these tanks versus these tanks, and that's the fight. Like,
yeah,
that's the mission.
Yeah, I guess I was sort of curious if Flames of War would ever really take off, and I feel like.
Yeah, but that's the same issue that we've seen with like X-Wing, right? Like,
yeah,
how often it moves, you just never see people play in the store. At least in Mountain View. Like, almost nobody ever did.
I have seen people play. I've seen people play X-Wing more than I've seen. That and War Machine back in whatever edition it was, third.
That's because everyone bailed after, like,
After.
the shit show of,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
it, 7th? Or 6th and 7th?
I don't know. Oh, for 40K?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, there were times when
And,
people
and then War Machine 3rd edition hit, and then everyone came back.
Yeah.
There's your gaming timeline of drama, right? Of like
Yeah.
who pissed everyone off when,
Yeah.
as to like this current exodus of like a while back when
Right.
there was a bunch of people who joined and went over to Battletech, and I hear people right now are complaining about the lore and custodies.
Oh my god. I, to be honest with you, I like lore in my wargaming, but I have a hard time imagining that I would quit a game because of lore. Do you think you would quit a game because of lore, or like jump ship for a while because of lore? Right? Like I feel like if the play style was really bad, and maybe like hurt my favorite army,
You might skip edition.
I might gravitate to something else for a little bit.
I mean, that's what I did with my AdMech. But so this actually plagues Battletech, right? Is that you have pre like 3050, it's all the only inner sphere, right?
Okay.
And so this is like 30 plus years ago when this came out, right? I think in the 80s.
Battletech, yeah, it's
Yeah.
old.
And then after that, you have, what is it, the TRO 3050, which is when the clans come out. And some people think that ruined everything.
Yes, I've heard this before. I've heard this.
And so
there's like a real world civil war among players
yeah.
of Battletech.
But then there's like 2 other ages after that, right? You have the Dark Ages, and then you have the Ill Clan era.
Wait, what era are we going to play in?
We're playing in the grognard 3050, like pre-3050 stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you might have a couple mechs that are post before that, but you don't go crazy on like everything has endo steel double heat sinks, you know, and all that.
Yeah, because we don't want to play Alpha Strike. Because if we're going to play Alpha Strike, we just play 40K. Which is,
No, this isn't
or
Alpha Strike
Sigmar
so
or
much.
whatever.
This is more like, so in like, what is it, 3029? Or no, like 30, yeah, maybe it's like 3029. There's the Helm Memory Core, which this deals back with like Clan Wolf people, and like this memory core has all this like Star League era tech that then gets distributed to everybody. And so like you get double heat sinks, endo steel, LBXs, like extended range lasers,
Yeah.
ERPPCs, like all this old, like they call it lost tech.
Oh, so
Becomes more-
kind of looking 40K, where like
Yeah.
some of the weapons from the Dark,
Dark
Age
Age.
of humanity are actually more powerful.
So
Okay,
like
okay.
peak Star League is like the utopia. Well, if you lived in the Star League, right? This is like the utopia of humanity.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay.
So like peak Star League is sort of like the
Never gets
utopia,
old.
like you know, like think of like Star Trek and the Federation, right? Except like if you live in the boonies, there's this whole thing called like the what is it? Unification? No. Well, after Ian Cameron makes you know the Star League.
Wait, who's Ian Cameron? You're name dropping normal people names. Just like
He's the guy who
know who that is.
He's the guy. The Camerons are the guys who founded the Star League. But he's like like great diplomat guy. But he wanted to unify all of humanity, except like the people who live off in the boonies, they didn't sort of want to put up with central government. That's like
Okay.
thousands and thousands of light years away, right?
Okay,
Like
not too dissimilar to today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and so you know they start like oppressing them and you know forcefully try to like coerce them to join the Star League, and the Taurians, which are one of my favorite periphery factions, basically like take them to the cleaners. It shows like the whole thing of like the wars. They show like the problems of one of like shitty like government procurement, right? Because some of them actually just flat out suck. Because like part of this is all like there's like lore as to the companies and where these things are made.
Wait, isn't one made by GM or something?
Yes.
We were talking about this. Like, okay, I have my own questions about that. Let's like get
Yeah,
back
there's
to-
like Nissan still making motors in the future.
This is kind of wild. Did these companies know this?
This has been such in the lore for so long. I think it's too late to retcon it out.
I know,
You
but
should have just let it slid for like decades.
can Nissan be like, whoa, hold up. No, thanks. We're not interested in being people who created giant war machines in the future, and like, can't they do that or no?
So you're holding one. I think the Marauder is a GM product.
The Marauder is so cool. It actually might be one of my favorite ones. It's. I know I said I don't like the non-humanoid kind of shape, but the Marauder is probably my favorite. Yeah. The big gun is a little wet. Just heads up.
Yeah, I just saw you paint it.
Boom. Yeah.
Yep.
This guy looks cool. The people I'm going to use right out of the gate are this guy, the Longbow, the Panther, the Wolfhound. I actually do like the Blackjack. He's pretty cute.
Here's the Longbow for people curious.
I love the Longbow. I'm still working with him right now, but I absolutely love the Longbow.
So this guy was a design from like Macross. Because early FASA didn't want to do all their own mech design, and so this ties into like the real life drama around the game, where certain companies own certain rights to certain things.
Okay, checks out.
Especially with TV shows, right, and cartoons.
Oh, that's right.
And toy rights. Because sometimes you have a distro right, but not the toy right. But like, this wasn't really consistent, right? And so like, different people own different parts of the shit.
Kind of wild, actually. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, that was a very confusing component of Battletech for me. Was I wasn't really understanding its concept as IP. Excuse me, sneeze. Sometimes when I sneeze, I sneeze
so this
like
is where
7 times,
this
so hopefully
this interacts with old like Robotech and Macross designs, because that's where they thought they bought certain things, but maybe they didn't, and like decades of legal drama.
KK is one of those people, by the way, that knows everything in the nerd game universe. We've noticed over the years.
You hang out at a game store long enough, you just...
Yeah, that's you. You were...
and then Game Castle went poof, or Mountain View, so...
Yeah. Mountain View was a good place to...
Please tell Zach why the king crab is the king of the battlefield. So this goes back to...
oh my god,
Kerensky.
That's a real thing. Also, wait, sorry, Cass. I have to keep thanking Cass real quick before you do that, KK. Thank you. Cass, thank you for more gifted memberships. 10 more. We super appreciate it. I need to figure out new things to say every time you give memberships. I just keep saying we super appreciate it, but we do super appreciate it. Okay, sorry, KK. King Crab, king of the battlefield. Yes.
So there's two mechs, right? The first is this guy right here. Is the Atlas,
Whoa,
which Kerensky.
Wait, all right. Is that like a skull face?
Yes. This is like
okay.
the peak of like the Starlink era, the Atlas.
Oh, that
where
might
Kerensky,
be my new least favorite mech I've ever seen.
Kerensky wanted to impose fear over everyone, right? Because this is like a 100-ton assault mech. It is armed to the teeth.
He's got a rib gun, and then
an AC-20.
He's got hands.
Yes,
which is a big deal. That probably
battle fists.
He's a little bit better at melee, and also you were telling me that he can pick things. Like being able to pick things up is kind of a big deal.
Right. So like the counter to this was sort of this guy, right? So this guy's got like one AC-20. This guy's got two AC-20s. And the naming convention of an autocannon, right, is you have the AC-2, which does 2 points of damage. The AC-5 does 5 points of damage.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
The AC-10 does 10 points of damage.
That's actually...
and the AC-20 does 20 points of damage.
That's weirdly convenient, actually. That's actually, like, interesting, yeah.
And so it's the same deal with missiles, right? You have SRMs. They come in size 2, 4, and 6. And that's how many missiles are hitting you. Same deal for long-range missiles, which come in increments of 5. And then you have medium-range missiles, which come in increments of 10. So 10... Oh, I think they come in 5s too, maybe.
I like the Wolfhound's little chest gun.
Lasers are not so easily determined, though. I think
figure out like what they do, yeah, basically.
Well, small lasers, I think, do 3. Mediums do 5.
But there is a lot of consistency.
Large lasers do like 8, I think.
This is something that I know drove Brett nuts with the Tau weapons, where like burst cannons did different amount of damage on one weapon than another.
So you also see this in the video games. I
played. I famously don't play video games.
So,
I played Mech Assault for Xbox. Yeah.
So the depictions, this sort of addresses like the 40K thing, right? Of like, it's a question as to like different manufacturers. Like one guy's autocannon might be a stream of bullets. Someone else might be a single large slug, but this is communally like that's how it maybe represents in the video game even. But like for different manufacturers, but rules wise, it's 10 points of damage. Like whether this is like because it's a giant Gatling gun or a single large shell is more abstracted.
Okay.
I
mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Especially like lasers and like how they work, stuff like that. But 40K does this with like, this is by one Forge World, and they do, why is plasma blue here and plasma green there?
Yeah, yeah.
As to 40K drama as to what color should your plasma guns be, the coils.
Yeah, or what color your lightsaber should be. Cass, thank you also for the super chat. Second Land Raider fund. Don't tell Mr. Dempsey. I won't tell Mr. Dempsey. Atlas. I know. I think the Atlas looks very stupid. But a lot of these look pretty stupid to me, honestly. But that's okay.
You gotta remember, like, this is like old '80s era artwork.
I know.
You can go and look it up. Like, it looks, some of the older artwork looks even more.
Longbow, super cool. Longbow looks cool. He's like my favorite. I stand here and have no he's like my favorite armless mech. Although, like I said, I actually do like the Blackjack. He's like a cuter, tiny version. Who's this guy? I'm actually a big fan of this guy. Is that? Hold on. Wait. Let me see. Don't tell me. I'm trying to learn. I forget.
This is a Zeus.
Zeus. Yes. Yeah, I like the Zeus. I need to clean up the black around his, in between his arms there.
They are the mainstay of House Steiner. Well, not in the Banshee for assault mechs.
I like him a lot.
House Steiner's the German guys.
Okay.
Although, for some reason, a lot of their mechs are named...
Greek things.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I will say, yeah, I like him. It looks like he's got a penetrating gun. It looks like he's got a sandblasting gun, as you like to call it.
Yeah, so you have a LRM-15, I think a large laser,
he's got
some like SRMs or something.
He's got a couple little guns.
Like 3 medium lasers or something?
Yeah.
I forget.
I'm super interested in, I'll be honest, I am also super interested in, I'm super interested in some of the non-mech parts of MechWarrior. I definitely would want to get some helicopters when they come out in plastic. That's like, it's fun to already be excited about a new release down the road for a game that I haven't even played yet. Helicopters seem really fun. I'm sure they get blown out of the sky, just like power armor guys do, right? Like you hit those guys and they're just gone.
but the issue is
they're cheaper and they're fat.
well hitting air I think is harder. Some mechs like the Blackjack are made for anti-air.
Okay.
They have
the
corks.
Blackjack. Oh yeah, he does. He looks like he's like got like
Yeah.
two little like
Yeah. Flat guns. Yeah. There's also mechs that can transform and turn into air mechs.
Okay.
So like the Valkyrie is one of them. It can
fly.
transform. Yeah.
Turn into like a plane. That's cool.
Yeah.
Does it
so,
actually switch the model out?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
They have I don't know what the old ones look like. You see it in the what is it? If you play BattleTech Advanced on the Hairbrained Schemes game, they're super annoying to hit. Like your hit chance goes to shit. But they're also like super flimsy. But yeah, so like that's where quirks come in if you play with the advanced rules.
Cass, thank you again. You're crazy today. We appreciate it. Thank you as always. Cass, do you play BattleTech? Kind of curious. Actually, like I said, I am kind of curious who plays. It looks like a lot of people like know BattleTech a little bit. I'm kind of surprised.
I mean, it's been
Orange Justice, calling everybody out. Migs, do you play BattleTech?
The rules haven't changed since they were published by and large, right?
Yeah, Migs, I do. Yeah, which is kind of a cool thing, right? Thanks again, Cass, for this last one. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
Well, it's good and bad. I mean,
the
rules being the same.
The rules being this, yeah, good and bad, right? Yeah, we've kind of talked about this. Like we were talking about this at Mausha Mixer with Aeronautica. Like the game mostly ended in a pretty good place. Mm-hmm. And so I only really lament the fact that Drukhari and Tyranids and Chaos didn't get a release. So really that's it. Like for the armies who did get a release, it's pretty good. I think Necrons might be a little wonky. I'm not sure yet.
I mean, that's the same deal with Battlefleet Gothic.
I know. I think it's... So I've not played Battlefleet Gothic, but from what I've heard Brett mostly talk about, it seems like Necrons and Aeronautica are less of
oppressive,
an issue than they are in...
Yeah, I mean, the lore is like one Necron ship goes in, breaks through all of Sol's defenses, and makes it to Mars.
Yeah.
Like one ship.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. How do you do that in the game, right? Like, how do you make a fun game?
Right.
I will say, I do think Migs I like. I do think Migs that I like the little. Excuse me. I like the humanoid guys better than the ones that look just like machines. But I do like some of the like a good like two models that I think are kind of straddle the line of that are the Marauder, which we showed earlier. I also like this guy. I'm pretty sure this guy's called the Archer.
Yes.
Yeah. I like this guy a lot. He's probably one of my favorites.
What, I think 70 tons.
Yeah. And I will say one of my favorites, definitely top 1 or 2 or 3 of mine, is this little tiny guy, the Stinger. He almost looks like a crisis suit, huh? His head, he's got like a little crisis suit vibes going on.
Yeah.
He'd be like a giant crisis suit.
Some mechs are actually modeled with a gun. So instead of the laser, whatever they have as like built into the arm, it's a pistol.
Oh, that's cool. I actually want some of those. This guy has one gun. Huh. The Stinger has one gun.
I mean, it's a light scout mech.
And then he's got a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the handling comes into play if you're playing like missions with like actual missions, like extraction, or like, you know, recovering a payload, because you need to be able to hold the payload. And if your Jenner with no arms, you know, tries to run up to it, like, how's he going to pick up the payload?
Yeah, he's going to get shot in the face by my Stinger, and then I'm going to take it from him. Actually, the Jenner's probably would, I'm guessing, looks like he might wreck the Stinger.
They're pretty burly. Well, at least I think they are.
Pretty who?
The Jenner, yeah,
It shoots a lot. It's got a lot of guns. It's like all guns.
Well, it's got a decent missile payload. It makes it pretty good at like countering.
I don't know why. I do like the idea of having maybe like 2 mediums are cool. Some of the medium guys are cool. Oh, dude, this guy you have is cool. The little funky tinier Marauder. Who's
This guy?
that?
This guy?
Oh my god, this is so fun looking at all the adorable
This should be a Locust.
He looks great.
So these have a special rule.
Okay, so like I'm
where
weirdly this is the look I'm into.
So normally, right, a Lance is only 4 mechs.
Yeah.
These guys are like the cheapest of the cheap, and you can fit 2 of them in a single pod.
Oh wow,
So
that's
you
fun.
can take 2 of them for 40
He
tons.
looks like a. Do you remember the movie RoboCop? Have you seen the original RoboCop?
Yeah, ED 204 or whatever.
The thing that like
209,
the thing that he has to fight. He looks like that guy. Yeah, I kind of like that design. The Marauder has a similar chassis, and I think I'm realizing that I'm kind of into that chassis. Thank you, Soups. Soup says King Crab is king for a reason. After nearly 250 years of so-called independence, do you not think it's time to try bowing to royalty again? Oh my God. Yeah, he's talking about our country. King Crab, I don't know. You're painting the King Crab right now. Is this your favorite? What's your favorite mech?
It's probably this one. I just like the idea of like, it's one of those mechs where you round a corner and you see it, and then you're just in for a bad time.
Like, you stay with. Is he good in combat?
No, well, yeah, because he's got very close range weaponry.
Okay.
He's got 2 autocannon 20s, so
Okay.
he blaps you for instant, 40 in the face.
Do you feel like the game's pretty balanced, or not really? Like, are some mechs just garbage and it's like too bad?
This depends on if you go with stock loadouts, or if you start letting people like tune them. But I mean, the game is balanced around different axes, right? You have points, you have C-bills, which is like the cost of like, buying and like maintaining the mechs. There's also the issue of like how long of a fight. So there's someone in chat mentioned it earlier, Solaris 7, which is an arena, right? Where people basically pay to go and watch, like, it's like if Vegas was a sort of like a planet. It's also kind of lawless, and you could go and watch mechs fight mechs.
Okay.
And so there's like gladiator planets. Solaris is one of them.
Okay.
And then like, in the mech pits, you have these guys dueling it out there. And so, what you can need to get away with in a Solaris arena is very different from like a bigger battlefield. And there's also like logistics trains, right? Like this is when you start playing the campaign mode. You have like all energy mechs because you don't need ammo. Whereas if you have something like the Archer and you blow your wad in like four rounds of shooting, and you're kind of, sucking it.
There's not a lot. Yeah, because you run out of ammo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And certain parts are rarer than other parts. So it's balanced around different aspects as to like how big your fight is. And the one that tosses this all into further complicates this is clan mechs.
Yeah, so what's a clan mech? Talk to me about that.
So clan mechs, as I said, Krinsky ran off into space with like a bunch of like smart people, and they spent like a couple centuries just optimizing technology, while everyone else sort of regressed to the Dark Ages.
Okay.
So normally, like an Intersphere large laser, I think is like 2-3 critical slots. The clan large laser is a single slot. Intersphere XL engines, which are like extra large engines. If the engine gets like destroyed in like one of the the side torsos or whatever, your whole engine is wrecked. Clan mechs don't suffer that issue. They also like by default by and large come with case, which prevents your ammo from like when it goes critical from like blowing up the rest of the mech.
So how do you decide if you're playing? Do you just spend more points on clan mechs, or you say, "Hey,
Oh yeah,
I'm a clan mech
So
army"?
if you're playing like clan mechs instead of doing like an 8K game where you got to up the points.
Wait, I have a question real quick. Do both people have to decide to be clan mechs, or can one player, like...
You can be just like one player decide, but your opponent sort of needs to kind of, I guess, prep more. They're just better.
But they cost more?
Yeah.
So you might have less models or
Yeah,
less
so like
upgrades
the
or
clan
like any game.
Intersphere mechs come in lances, which is a lance is 4. Clans come in a star, right? And then stars, a couple like is it 5 stars become a galaxy? I forget how this shit works, but
Okay.
yeah. So like the deployment sizes are different. Also, you have the battle challenge or the bat call, but like the other thing with clan mechs is like you're supposed to like bid down and sort of like, I have all these mechs, but I'm only going to use these 3 guys to kick your ass.
Oh, you were talking to me about this.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like maybe so it's like it gives you extra like EP points, right? Because then because this is about the whole like perceived notion of chivalry and like also just being what's the word for this less wasteful, right? Because like at the height of the Star League era and like all that when like all the shit was going on, they were just nuking worlds just straight up and just killing everybody, right? So they wanted to be less like crazy mass destruction.
Okay.
And preserve infrastructure and technology. This is why like the Innisphere regressed to like feudal era. Is because all the the production sites
the
and all
war
that
destroyed.
Yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Right. So this is why the clanners have some of these ideas, because Kerensky's son tried to like create what he saw as like sort of utopian society that sort of fixed all these issues but caused other issues.
Of course, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can't have like a race of gene-bred supermen that are all clowns. Kind of, there's issues.
You're gonna have a bad time. Fascinating. Yeah, I'm very excited. So how many mechs? Talk to us, KK, about like how many mechs are. I've been kind of asking you this, and I still don't know if I know an answer. Like, how big is a game? How many mechs are in a game?
Depends on your mission bracket. Like, I think I don't know. I see online people are saying like 6v6 is probably like a good like amount because you can fill different roles.
But
So,
also,
certain-
sorry. Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
What if I took like all light mechs, or mostly light mechs? Would I have 7 and you'd have 6, or like, do you set mech size? Like, how does that work?
I think that's up to players to determine, but I think maybe it's like 2 lance cap, and then you have to
So that'd be 8.
yeah.
So you could have up to 8. Does that mean when you say 2 lance cap? Does that mean you could either have 4 or 8? Or
Well, they
anywhere
said
in
this little locust guy, 2 of them can occupy a single like mech bay,
Okay.
right? Because most of these like your little like drop ship only has like 4 mech bay slots, like the Argo.
Oh, so there is actually like a factor that is
Yeah.
like, this is how many mechs you can have.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
So like, but like clanners, right? Their galaxies or stars come in 5.
yeah. Interesting. All right, we're closing the poll. I have some more questions, but we're closing the poll. And I guess we have a good Battletech crowd today. Most people are saying Battletech is their stop off, like it clearly is for me and KK anyway. Before they become a complete grognard. And then second, straight to model trains. Weight limits, right? Yes, you were talking about this. The tonnage limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you buy your force, you're actually like the points are actually unlike like Sigmar or 40k. The points actually have like a real, not a real world, but a game component of like, points in 40k or AOS is like you've got this many points. That's how many points they're playing. Build an army. It's not like it's actually like coins to pay the units or whatever. But here in this, it actually is because tonnage is actually the point system to buy stuff, right?
It used to be,
Okay.
until Clanners came around, because like ton for ton, Clan Text is better,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's where this whole move to battle value came.
Okay, so now there is like an arbitrary system, which
Well, there's two arbitrary systems. Well, actually, there's three.
Oh my
So
God.
there's battle value V1,
Okay.
which has been supplanted by battle value V2, but there's also C-bill cost. So C-bill is like C-bills are like how much it costs to like, when you're playing more like the RP mode of like just buying like a new mech or new components.
Okay.
And that's what keeps the RPG side like on rails versus you just running off until just because you have all this crazy stuff doesn't mean like it'll cost you an arm and a leg to like field it, right?
Got it. Okay.
And so there's different levers people do to tone things down. But prior to clans, it was ton v ton, right? So, you pay play like a 300 tonnage game.
Okay.
But like if you just did that with clan mechs, the clan mechs will win. Like
they'll win
100%
because
ton.
it's just bad. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, that makes.
And then
sense.
there's this other unfortunate aspect of this,
Oh, boy.
whereas I've seen people say like historical revisionism, where they're trying to. I think the phrase is they're trying to win a war for the future in the past by having these lost Star League era mechs just show up, and you look at their stat profiles and it's like, what is this crazy bullshit? Like
They're just like really good.
yeah. And then some of the mechs, like there's this whole like you can read about the history, and there's various lore channels that cover all this.
Yeah, you sent me a couple.
Yeah. About like the histories of certain mechs, how they got to where they are. And then there's clan versions of some mechs, right? So there's the Griffin, or not the Marauder, and then you have like the Marauder 2C,
Okay.
which is the clan version of that, not to be confused with the Marauder 2,
Oh my God.
which is the Innersphere version,
Okay.
which is made by Clan Wool or some wolf's like so the clanners when they try to reinvade Earth, they sent like some little scout guys, and so was it Wolf's Dragoons, are like a company of like clanners with like they grab the oldest mechs they had sitting around to sort of sneak back in as a full merc company at like division strength with all this like crazy era tech to scout out the Innersphere for their
Okay.
eventual reconquest, but they went native and then ended up like telling like the Star League, or not the Star League, but the Innersphere, like, oh, by the way, the clanners are coming to get you. I actually have the maps for the Battle of Tukiad, which is the big showdown between the clan and the Innersphere.
Oh, okay.
And like there's a lot of like stuff, so like if you do like old era campaigns, there's like the Chaos March campaign book, I think. So you can like, as I said, back to the RPG side, you can try and reenact certain historical scenarios.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. So is that like pretty common, or it's just
It's a thing. I mean, there's
It's a
it's
thing.
narrative play, right? Like you have various like big operations. So at one point, like two of the factions, Davian and Steiner, get married, and so you have this whole FedCom era stuff, where like people are trying to take over the galaxy.
God?
So yeah, Davian and Steiner get married. They take a big chunk out of Capellan space, and Kurita sort of gets annoyed, and then Merrick's freaking out because it just disrupts the balance of power.
Sure. It's interesting. So no aliens in this universe.
Well, instead, right, the clanners take sort of the role. As I said, like this goes back to the whole like Morgoth and like orcs thing. Clanners are basically like about as alien as orcs are to humans, right? They have like this weird concept of how families even operate emotions.
So they're different culturally by quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, they're not even like, most of them are clones, right? They're not even
Oh, right, right.
like the concept of like love, like all that, like is foreign to them. And so they're basically written as sort of almost as like aliens from a human perspective because they're just so like brought up in this weird warrior society.
Interesting. Oh my god, what a weird IP.
So MWO, right, is MechWarrior is sort of the FPS version of Battletech. So like you'll see this big difference, right? Because in the FPS side, what works for a good loadout makes no sense at all in the tabletop, and like vice versa, right? Because you don't have melee in MechWarrior Online. You do in MechWarrior 5, but you also don't have like infantry trying to like take you out.
Right.
So like you have this cool AC-20, but like if you shot like some infantry, you'd kill one model, or same with power armor, right? But then the other like guys in the squad just like chug on, right, and still like goon you. Whereas like stuff like flamers are very good against infantry or like machine guns, and so the range bracketing and all that causes certain very schizophrenic loadouts to be very good in the tabletop sense, especially because of how things are resolved. Whereas in an FPS game, you have these issues of weapon convergence, different reload times, and other problems, right? And also, like, you're just way more accurate. So you can, like, headshot a guy or specifically aim for certain body parts way easier, which leads to different valuation and alpha striking, or even just running less heat sinks.
Well, running less less heat sinks means you could do less things, right?
Yeah, but if your goal is to pop out, like, blow your wad and then hide behind a wall and, like, cool off for 30 seconds, that's perfectly viable as a strategy.
Okay.
Right? Because this is playing more like a shooter, right? It's like I'm going to, walk out, shoot a guy, and then spend, like, 40 seconds reloading every gun. Whereas you don't get that in the turn-based mode, right? The other one is your ability to deal with light mechs, which are physically just too tiny, and geriatric large mechs can't, like, twist and, like, aim down low enough or high enough to shoot them. Part of this other issue also comes out when you go and look at things like jump jets, and how useful they are for getting you over tiny bumps in terrain. It's like when you play, like, old video games and, like, hey, here's this inconveniently placed, like, shrub. Let me, like, fail to ever, like, climb over it,
Right.
as this elite super soldier. Whereas, at least, whereas, like, some mechs are like Daleks, right? Like, oh no, stairs, my greatest enemy.
Yeah, I should fire up my Mech Assault video game on my original Xbox and play it. It was pretty fun, I remember.
Yeah, Brett and Bryce have been playing MWO, which is 12v12 PvP.
Now, here's a serious question I have for everybody, since there seem to be a lot of Battletech people. But I'll ask you, KK. Do you feel like the background lore is like really compelling, or what are its strengths? It seems realistic, but does that make it super cool? Like, how do you feel about the lore? Like, how is it compared to other IPs?
It's realistic to a point, but it's also unrealistic. Like, certain, I guess this is done for more game balance. Every single mech is probably flawed in its lore accurate loadout.
Okay, what do you mean? Give me an example.
You would, like, how many points of armor, like where it's distributed, weapon loadouts, where the ammo goes. Some decisions are very suboptimal, and almost no, like, build fixes this for any, like, official variant, which is where, like, the whole RP side things can become a bit, wonky as people, like say you fired every single gun in an alpha strike, right? Like, and it generates like 20 heat. Mm-hmm. Would you just put in 10 heat sinks? No, you'd probably want 20 heat sinks. or even better, like 20 double heat, like 10 double heat sinks,
But
stuff like that. But like,
that's not what the lore says, or like, what do you?
no lore accurate company would ever do something so smart, or they do something funny like the inverse, right? Like, now that we've moved this to double heat sinks, let's up the guns to be even like more like heat, like like now that we've doubled the cooling, we've like so because you see this in some builds, they go and like make the guns even bigger, so that you still are like running in the red if you fired everything at once.
Okay.
Like decisions like that.
But more large scale, do you are you like Battletech lore is cool? Like I like Battletech lore. Like are you drawn to the universe? Like would you if you found out they were making a show about it, would you be excited or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the problem is though, it's like fridge logic. It doesn't stand up under too much scrutiny.
Sure. I mean that's like that's most sci-fi universes though, right?
Yeah, except for like Expanse or like other hard sci-fi ones.
Yeah, okay.
Gurren Lagann. There was an old Battletech TV show. It was kind of atrocious though. But if you're masochistic, you should check it out.
Interesting.
It had like, remember like reboot era like graphics with like the CGI?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What is that?
Oh, Reboot. It was a show on like Saturday morning cartoons.
When?
Late 90s.
Really? Oh, I was in high school. Maybe I wasn't watching cartoons.
Was it the 4P, Bryce? Yeah. They call those the swayback, right? And that's supposed to be a huge divisive viewpoint as to whether all true hunchbacks have only a single large gun, or whether just firing a ton of shit also like qualifies you to be a hunchback.
Interesting. So how easy do you feel like it is? Okay, so back to, I had this question about game size. So you're saying 6v6 seems to be kind of right around there?
So each mech has, like most mechs have certain roles they're in, like scouting, like a juggernaut, which is your big mech, or like sniper, cavalry, or like a skirmisher.
Okay.
But obviously, right, I just listed off way more than 4 roles. So you can't fill all these jobs.
Right.
So you suffer, like...
Or you could choose to fill a job twice.
Yeah. So this becomes more... You got more freedom to resolve this if you play 6v6. Whereas if you play 4v4, like... You're just going to... Like, it's compromises, right? Like, you know that you're just going to be completely SOL at certain ranges. Or certain, like, roles.
Okay. But that's kind of fun, right? I mean, like, that's part of... I mean, that's...
Yeah,
well,
constraints. You have different sets of constraints. I mean, you could also try and compensate for this by buying tanks. You know, like demolishers are pretty cool. Like they have like 100 points of armor, or 100. They're a 100-ton tank, so they move kind of slow, but they also have 2 AC-20s on them. Tanks don't have like the same. Well, they have a different set of rules that they operate by, so you have like different weapon loadouts.
Yeah, I imagine, right? So I'm guessing. In general, they probably have less weapons, right? Or
Some can have more.
some have more.
But there's also,
how big are the tank models? Like,
I think because like the locust can just step on them and crush some of them.
the Locust Kid?
Yeah.
That's kind of a small one.
Yeah, but like think of like a real life tank. Think of like this guy, like locust can just crush a car, right? Like,
I guess I don't have a sense of how big.
if you had like
These
four cars glued together, right? And that's like your average size tank, I guess. Is like, like if you took 4 Honda Odysseys, glued together, and you had this guy. I mean, this guy stepping on it was going to do some damage.
Yeah, of course.
So there's that. Like,
Okay. I guess I need to see.
but there's some situations where like the tank is also going to mess the shit out of a mech up if it gets like the right angle and drop.
Right. I guess I need to see a tank model next. Like, do they come on these little bases still?
Yeah.
And is it like one per base, or is it like
Yeah.
a few of them per base, like Epic or something?
Tanks are 1 per base.
One per base. Okay. The infantry guys are like a few of them on there.
Yeah,
right?
I think infantry is normally like 10 guys, whereas like battle armor is like
3 or 5. I feel like I feel
yeah,
okay.
somewhere in there, or four or 5, or sometimes more. But
Okay.
yeah, but like battle armor can like just take a crazy amount of weaponry.
Okay.
Like each guy can get like multiple missile launchers.
The Battletech or the battle armor, are the elements, right?
Well, there's the elementals are the clan version. They're like roided up. Just think like think of like knobs, right? They're like big knobs, or mega knobs.
Okay. Thanks, Cass, for dropping 2 more memberships. We appreciate it. Thank you for all the support today. I thought you said it was your last one a few back. And thanks, Caldor, for gifting a membership. Super appreciate that. The support's really amazing. Because, food and rent is a thing. So it's helpful. Okay, I'm kind of like working now, I think, for most of the rest of the stream on the archer. Or sorry, the longbow. How you doing? Let's check in. See how this king crab is going. This is your paint color scheme.
Yeah.
How many have you done so far in this in these colors?
Like 20 plus.
Wow. That's a lot. Is this your second king crab?
I have 2, but this is the first.
Oh, you haven't painted one yet.
Yeah.
You've been waiting as a treat for yourself to paint your favorite mech.
Yeah, I mean it's also like it's 100 points, so it's 100 tons, so it's not like the most wieldy thing.
How many tons? Like, what's like? Yeah, how many tons do we use when we play? I mean, we decide. You said it's different each game, right?
Normally you go by points instead, right? And
Oh,
but
right,
a
right.
standard Argo I think holds up to like, what is it, 400 tons? So that's usually your drop tonnage limit. You'll see that when you play like Mech Warrior.
So his weaknesses are that he's kind of slow.
Yeah. So this guy's like he's got a 3-5 profile,
Okay.
which means he can walk 3 or sprint 5 or run 5.
Okay.
Turning costs you a hex, right? So if you're behind him, you'd have to sprint to be like. I mean, just moving just does you a 180.
Oh, that's because it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
That's your whole movement rate. Yeah.
yeah. So when you have a little guy who keeps walking your butt and popping you, issues start arising.
So he's kind of vulnerable to like a little stinger or something
Yeah.
like that.
Plus, you can also like there's melee, so stingers can keep kicking you, which is like one of the things people do with like light mechs is walk up and just do like kicks to cause piloting checks, and eventually you might fail one and fall down.
Right.
At which point you're immobilized and everyone gets a -4 to hit you.
When you're immobilized, you're harder to hit.
No, you're easy to hit. You have to roll above.
Oh, minus is good.
Yes.
Okay. That's going to take some getting used to.
They have a target number, and you're supposed to beat that roll on a 2d6.
2d6. Okay.
So it's like leadership tests, except you want to be above the leadership number, not below.
Right. Interesting, as I've continued to say. Yeah, I'm super excited to play. I hope we can get Bryce in on a game, and Brett's down. So it'll be fun to shoot each other's arms off and look at charts all night long. I've been kind of saying, joking that it's grognard vibe, and I want to, it's funny because I'm like, I want to have Mountain Dew and Doritos and stuff. But the reality is I really don't want to do that because I actually just don't want to do those things. I actually don't want to drink Mountain Dew at all.
You don't like Baja Blast?
I don't like any Mountain.
Wow.
I really don't like soda.
You drink LaCroix all the time.
Yeah, that's LaCroix. That's carbonated water. I don't really like any soda.
How's that any different from like Sprite?
Well, it doesn't have sugar in it. I don't want like all the sugar.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's unhealthy. I don't really enjoy it, and it's like, you know, if something's unhealthy, like I'm drinking cognac, that has sugar in it, and it tastes good, and it's alcohol. Like it's not healthy to drink cognac, but I enjoy it, right? If I don't enjoy something gross that's unhealthy for me, like why would I have it? You know?
I think they might be a bit higher than that, Brett.
I don't like Baja Blast. I don't like Mountain Dew. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a fancy. We'll have to have some charcuterie, Brett, and Brett does. Okay, now Brett home makes his own soda, and it was pretty good, especially for adding alcohol too. So I will say that, and that's like maybe the best part about soda. But I don't know. I've never had alcohol added to Mountain Dew and thought that it was a good idea.
But what do you think of like a grapefruit radler or something?
Wait, what?
A radler? It's when they take like a beer and they add like fruit juice or like soda to it.
Oh, yeah, Panache that's also called, I think, and it has different names. Yeah, yeah, that's actually okay. Honestly, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, but again, I don't really want to drink that because, I don't want like beer is like okay, but just I don't know, beer and Sprite mixed together. It's like what am I really drinking? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? I don't know. I'm not gonna get buzzed. I'm just drinking.
You just need to drink more. What?
No, it's like I can't drink that much beer and I can't drink that much soda. Like I think I would just get sick. I think I would get sick before I got like any kind of legit fun buzz off of it. Personally, just letting you guys know how drinking works for me.
Fair enough.
So we'll have to get some, but I do want to have like a nerd grognard hanging out, having some beer and pretzels. You know, when people were like, I just want a beer and pretzels game. That sounds like Battletech to me. Maybe I'm wrong though. I actually don't know what people mean when they say that. Brett and I have talked about this. I hate when people are like, oh, it's the beer and pretzels game. I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, think of like a ball game.
A ball game?
Yeah, when you go to like
baseball game?
Yeah. That's the only place I can think of where you get beer and pretzels or like a football
I know,
game.
but that's not what they mean. They don't mean that. They're like, when people say beer and pretzels, they're not talking about sports game, sports ball. Right? They're talking about like...
What? It's like the same thing? It's like the same sort of like...
No, I don't think that's what... it's not the same at all. It's like totally different. But again, I mean, like, I don't know what it means. I'm with you.
What? It's like you go tailgating before your Warhammer game. You know, like when you hang out with like Anthony and like he brings a cooler of like beverages and...
Tailgating? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You know, people start pre-gaming their shots before like the 40K game, kind of.
Beer and pizza is a good combo for gaming, sure. Alpha Strike is beer league. What do you mean, Caldorf? Like you got to play. You got to have beer when you're doing Alpha Strike. What is this thing on the top of the longbow?
I think it's like a spotlight or searchlight. That's your cat.
Oh, man. Zone Nasty. This is a great question. Zone Nasty says, which is worse? Battlefield Earth. You've seen Battlefield Earth?
With John Travolta? Yeah.
Yeah. Or Rebel Moon. Have you watched the Rebel Moon movies
I haven't
yet?
made it through the Rebel Moon movie, so I don't know.
You didn't make it through, but you tried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
I mean, that's your answer. You just answered
feel,
the question.
I feel like I enjoy... Battlefield Earth is just sort of like campy enough.
Yeah, it's fun.
That even though you accept the fact it's a shit film, like, you know, like Travolta's having fun.
Barry Pepper,
Yeah.
John Travolta having fun.
Like, you didn't have high expectations just seeing how, like, campy the thing was. Like, it was...
One thing that's very funny, Meg owned the DVD. Battlefield Earth is one of Meg's favorite movies. She loves it. And on the back of the Battlefield Earth DVD, it says that it has some of the best scene transitions. You know that's like you know how like they put like critical reviews on the back of things.
Yeah.
One of them was like the only one they could find that's positive was like some critic from like some critic from like the Des Moines Tribune saying some really good scene transitions. It's so sad. Okay, Zone Nasty. I actually like Battlefield Earth for the same reason KK and Megan do. It's a really good bad movie, right? Like, it is fun. There's some scenes in that movie that are just so ridiculous, though. Like, oh my god! And they like do these Dutch angles that like, make no sense. And just how fast the like cave people like went from being cave people to flying jet fighters. Remember that? Remember that part?
Try not to.
I don't think it's a Scientology movie. It was written by L. Ron Hubbard, who created Scientology. But I don't think I would have known. Like, do you feel like you get any Scientology vibes from Battlefield Earth?
No.
I don't feel like I do.
Did you read the book, though? The book is slightly different.
Meg did. I didn't.
It goes a bit more on, like, maybe, like, philosophy and stuff, but not my much.
Yeah. I don't know that John Travolta would have like really done that. I know he's a Scientologist, but I'm just not sure that you don't really get those vibes from that movie.
Aren't like all the big stars Scientologists? Isn't that like part of like getting in, like you join the cult?
I guess so.
Or like Tom Cruise peer pressures you into joining?
Maybe Meg didn't read It's Zone SD. Maybe she started. I can't remember. I think that Waterworld is good. Waterworld is also like kind of a good bad movie, right? When was the last time you saw that one?
Like 4 years back. Is it really a bad film though? I mean, like, where do you put Highlander on this list then?
Dude, we were just talking about this. I think Highlander is bad.
What?
I can't. Saray and I were just talking about this on stream.
Well, which one?
I've only seen the original with Sean Connery, and I thought it was like one of the most boring movies I'd ever seen.
You mean a Scotsman pretending to be an Egyptian, pretending to be a Spaniard?
Yes. That was...
And then who goes off to Japan for some reason?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what the character, like, does, right? That's kind of the point of the character, right? He's, like, wanders around and does things.
He just made no effort at all to try and pretend to be that he was someone he wasn't. This was like Sean Connery playing Sean Connery, regardless of what the script says.
Well, the movie was... I don't think it matters at all. The movie's just boring to me. I'm not a Highlander guy. I will say that. I do like Battlefield Earth. I recognize that it's not good. But, it's fun. Oh, Forrest Whitaker also? It's quite a cast.
I think people actually, like, hurt by the swords.
What do you mean?
Like, Christopher Lambert said, like, he got, like, he was ready to quit by the end of it.
Battlefield Earth?
No.
Highlander?
Yeah. Because they're flailing around with the swords.
Oh, they kept getting, like, stabbed and stuff?
Well, I think they were real swords that they were using.
Oh, my God. You know, one thing that I will say about the Battle Mechs is that clearly people had a lot of fun designing these things back in, like, the 80s. You know?
If you like the old, like, retro, like, Blood Dragon, like, sort of kind of crazy art, like, they definitely fit that vibe.
Alright, I'm doing this, like, dropping a little bit of white paint down into, like, these missile holes. I hate this.
You can have an easier time if you use, like, an ink or something.
I am... Actually, no, I'm not using an ink. And I do have an ink. I just didn't feel like going over and getting it. But I do have my titanium white ink. I have thinned it down quite a bit.
Well, part of that also is you see that when you do, like, panel lining... Right, is you also like sometimes just gloss varnish first,
and then
to reduce surface tension, so it gets in there. It depends on how try hard you're gonna go.
It was like it was weirdly kind of easy to do on the trebuchet, but on the archer, it's like I'm having a harder time. Yeah, I didn't have a hard time on the trebuchet.
The other one is oils, right? Because there should be a lower.
I was like struggling to find the brush I
I
want.
think it's degrees of surface tension and like how much thinner you can get oils.
What is this? This is
Christopher Lambert couldn't wear his glasses during the fight scenes. Was pretty much blind during them.
Oh my god.
Did they not have contacts back then? I think though seeing like the terrible films certain actors have been in is kind of funny. Like Max von Sydow. Or no, who's the other guy? Like that guy that played like Ming, right, in Flash Gordon.
What about him? Like having that role?
Yeah, because he's like a famous actor, and then you have him play like Ming the Merciless, and it's just.
Oh yeah, or like Christopher Lee was always like good about that, right? Like,
Yeah,
he did those.
But then you had like what's that terrible? Not Flash Gordon. The Krull, was it, or no? One of those ones. The He-Man movie.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, but the original one, right? You had this amazing acting for the guy who was Skeletor, but like the rest of the film is just like kind of meh. Or then you got like the Conan one where Schwarzenegger and
James Earl Jones.
Yeah. No, that one like ages better, but like at the time he hated like, like being associated with it.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that too.
And you got like Raul Julia as Bison, you know, doing it for his kids.
Oh my god. All right, so KK, let's see. We don't have much time left. We should do fan stuff. We've got some fan stuff. We got some good fan stuff. We've been doing fan stuff a lot more, so we don't have as much as we normally do because we did some Sunday. But let's look and see what we've got. Oh my god, I'm doing a horrible job on these missiles. You ever just get to like painting a part of a model and you're like, wow, I'm just bad at this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just
set it down.
or just learn to just like skip that and just like this was a terrible idea, we should stop doing it.
Well,
you know, it's like drilling your barrels, right? Sometimes you just give up on it.
Right. You drill a barrel and you're like, oh, it looks worse now that it's off-centered because that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's look at some fan stuff. Friends of the show. Here we go. Boom. Okay, this is Pat C. Pat's not in here today, but KK, you and I actually hung out with Pat. We stayed up late last night.
Yeah.
I
2
was
a.m.
Like, at one point, I was like, don't you have work? And our 2 a.m. was like Pat's 5 a.m. We stayed up so late last night. Actually, this is funny, right? We stayed up so late last night that Roshan showed up. Remember? From Sweden. And it was like morning. It was like, it's the first time I'd ever seen Roshan. It was like bright in his room. He showed up in our hobby hang. If you don't show up in our hobby hang, don't showing up in our hobby hang. Do showing up in our hobby hang. It's pretty fun. All right, Calder, if we're going to get to your super chat in 1 second. Yeah, this is Pat. This is a little project he did. Pat loves basing, and I think he was also trying out this water effect stuff, which is great because I am needing to try this out. I literally just picked up my Vanguard box of Idoneth the Deepkin to get ready for Spearhead.
Is that paper for the...
Those are paper plants, yeah, and he painted them a little bit too, I think, or maybe not. I think they're starting to come. Meg has a set that looks nice too. Okay, anyway, these are great. Yeah, I like the basing. I'm gonna have to ask him how he did it. Nice work, Pat. Because I want to do like river. Okay, this is Chris likes to paint. This is a test scheme for his Tyranids that he's starting. What do you think?
Yeah, it's looking nice. I like how the contrast between like the darker turquoises versus the orange and yellows.
Yeah, I like the little pattern he's got on the wings too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really nice, Chris. Nice work on the back of the carapace as well. This is quite nice. Yeah. Okay, this is Devin, our Devin. I mean, it's not much we can say. It looks great. He's just like maxing out the lighting. I don't know if this is for his Golden Demon project. He's giving us a sneak peek or what this is for, but it looks pretty good. Oh man,
Looks too big to be a GW thing.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
That looks like it'd be the size of like a dwarf, or at
Yeah.
least a goblin. The
Yeah.
scale looks off for GW.
This is Broken Chef, straight from Nurgle to Sylvaneth. Looks very good. Yeah, I like the color scheme he's got going here. I like the base. Yeah, Broken. I haven't talked to you since you started painting Sylvaneth, I don't think, but these are looking good. Look at the not brown tree he's got going here. Look at that grays. That's how you make good trees. Not brown. Not brown. Very nice. Good work. I love it. Okay. This is fun. We had a guy on our stream at Maelstrom Mixer. His name is Luther, and he was quite a character. Very funny. He played Emperor's Children, and he dressed like an Emperor's Children both days. He cosplayed. He had some interesting outfits on both days. Everybody at Maelstrom Mixer gets kind of like a door prize, and Luther won this Badlands Plateau. I always forget the name of this company, but they make scenery. You've seen this company a million times, right? Like, you know.
Woodland Scenics?
No, it's not Woodland Scenics. It's in our Discord. Luther posted the brand. Brett, if he's still around, might remember the name of the brand. Although, hopefully, Brett's headed to a key for margaritas at this point. But anyway, this is Luther took it and he painted it and he added static grass, and it looks so much better. But the stuff comes fully painted, KK.
Okay.
You've definitely seen it before. I'll show it to you after the stream. You've definitely seen it.
Are they the ones who have the pre-done bases? Like, it's just all, like, flocked already and everything?
No, or like come with a little flocking kit. No,
No. The ones that come, like, pre-done.
Pre-done? I don't think so. No, because he added the flock in this case. Battlefield in a box. Okay. Yeah, same Luther, yeah.
So he took his 30K Emperor's Children and put it in 40K?
I think he might have both. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe they were. Maybe they were 30K. I forget who this is. Oh, this is Yusef. Yeah. Yusef, one of our mods. Working on his Tyranids.
Is it High Fleet Behemoth?
Yeah, this is a new... Is this one of the new lictors, I guess?
It looks like the new lictor kit. I have the old lictors.
Yeah. Looking good, Yusef. Love the green. I like the pavement base as well. Yeah. Good carapace.
Yeah.
Nice
Lore
stuff.
accurate colors?
Laura, yeah. And this is Godforge. This one I did not pull from the finished, so I don't know if he's still working on it or not, but I think it looks pretty great as is.
Gene Stealer Cults?
Gene Stealer Cult. It's very grungy looking Gene Stealer Cult kind of look. I'm digging it. Yeah. I think that might be it. That's it, yeah. Nice stuff, guys. As always, we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool stuff. Good fan stuff. Okay, so KK, wait. What? Wait. Actually, we have a super chat to chat about here. Caldorf. Caldorf says, "Hey gang, thank you, Caldorf. First of all, he says, "Hey gang, love BattleTech. Alpha Strike is fun, but prefer hex movement add-on rules. My playgroup is checking out Override rule set. Do you know what that is? Kind of mid-level complexity. GK Fremont has a lot of BattleTech happening. I always think Caldorf is like kind of local. Yeah, GK Fremont's a little far for you and I.
Like an hour?
Yeah, maybe, right? I mean, we're spoiled, so like we don't drive. We just play with each other at each other's places most of the time these days. So we're kind of spoiled, but that's good to know. Thank you for that information, and thank you for the support. You haven't heard of Override?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I mostly do the PC stuff, so yeah.
What do you mean? Like
Brett and I played our first game of the tabletop, like, what, 3 months back?
Oh, right. You mostly know it from, yeah.
I mean, I've got the books and stuff, but yeah, as like that was our first game, so like, we're about to go to game 2.
Yeah. Is there you said there is a turn-based, there are turn-based MechWarrior games?
Yeah. Well, turn-based is Battletech.
It's Battletech.
the real time, first person sort of shooty is Mech Warrior, and that's where the delineation has always been.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this game is Battletech.
Yes.
Because it's turn-based.
Correct.
But if the game was like playing like little kids, like walking around and shooting each other, and like saying "I shot you," like "no fair," like that would be called
Mech Warrior.
Mech Warrior. Okay. Do people play that way?
No.
No.
That's a video game thing.
that should be a rule set. Playing like a child and
Oh, kitty.
Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, I left the door open today when we streamed. And so now the cats just walk in and harass us. Okay, how are you liking the cognac? What are you thinking?
It's fine. I don't know. I guess I don't have enough sample sizes to determine, like, one way or the other.
Like, yeah, I guess the question is more like, do you like it?
It was all right.
It was all right, okay.
Yeah.
Not like, how do you compare it to other cognacs, which is, you're right, like a little out of my wheelhouse too. Okay, I've been doing a little tribal paints on these guys. So I'm going to do a little tribal paint on this longbow. And then I'm going to matte varnish the parts of him that need to be matte varnished. And then he's going to be done. I'm excited to base these guys. I need to finish.
Yeah, the hard part is getting the basing to look correct, because if you put, like, grass, like, that grass is going to be massive. Like,
No, I'm going to get the little tiny
Yeah.
gamer grass ones. I have a bunch, so I'm going to use that. And I think I'm going to use my my Games Workshop granite stuff.
Oh, Astrotech Granite?
Yeah, the stuff that's already gray.
Yeah.
Because I've been using the AK stuff. That's like you have to paint.
Uh-huh.
It's like, but I don't want to have to paint much here.
Yeah, so much like,
Since he's already on the
unlike
base.
40K, the biomes make a much bigger difference in Battletech. I think there's, like, planetary modifiers, but, like, deserts are sort of warmer. Like, if you step on lava, it's going to, heat you up more. Or conversely, if you step in water, you'll cool more.
Oh, I
So,
see. Right,
so,
yeah.
so, like, the terrain is more interactive in that sense. I think normally you only see that in 40K in, like, a more narrative setting.
Yeah.
But not to the same extent, whereas, like, you don't just shoot, like, 20% more because you're standing in, like, something normally.
Right. All right, longbow almost done. Except for basing. Yeah, I got to do all my basing. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. Now, this is interesting. They come glued to the base.
Yeah.
You told me I should put it in a freezer for 30 minutes.
Or an hour. Yeah, 30 minutes to an hour.
And pop it off.
Yeah. It'll break the CA bond.
Have you done that?
On minis I've glued in the past and wanted to, like, take apart.
Okay, but you haven't done it on Battletech yet.
No, I had no plans. I was just going to just paint on top, put some texture paint down and call it a day.
Yeah, maybe I don't really want to do the popping them off the base thing. Like, it feels like if I pop them off the base, I'm going to mildly regret that every now and then for the rest of my life.
Well, you can try and cut the little pegs that they're, like, pinning
That's right.
them in.
That's right. And then you said there were pegs too. No, I think I'd rather it just stay. I think I'll just work around it, honestly.
Yeah.
Less work, and then they stay more stable. So I think I'm just going to do that. How's he coming out? Oh, did you finish the king crab?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see him. King crab. There he is.
Not so much on the back, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I can do those antennas as well.
How do you feel about painting these? Like, I don't feel like I'm doing my best work on these guys.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is if you try and do too much crazy stuff, it just doesn't work at that scale when you consider how big this thing is. Like,
yeah.
What is your average car? Like 2 tons? This is like 100 tons. Like, this thing can walk through. Like, when you start playing like Mech Warrior 5, you can just walk through an office building in like one of these mechs. Like, just goes through it, right? Not try and go around. Like you're just in a city, and just imagine just like pulling like a Godzilla, right? Just walk through the buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm doing my best work painting them, but I do kind of know what you mean. And I haven't really weathered mine yet.
Well, that's the problem, right? It's like, so you have little bits of rust coming off, but
how big are they really be, right?
Yeah.
If you weather them, like if you put a little large piece of rust, that's huge. Like they would, yeah.
like minor grime streaking, yeah. But like yeah, it's trying to weather like what is it, 107? What is like you ever do like scale modeling? Like you get like
are we always doing scale modeling?
no, but like you get like an actual like historical ship, and you realize it's a 1/700th scale, and like the size of like a person is like 3 millimeters tall.
Oh, I see.
Like, okay, so like what do you do when you like take a little paint sponge and just dab it? Like that paint swatch, like it's missing now, is like the size of a person. Like we're just gonna completely ignore this like 6 foot tall gaping like
Rust.
streak of like tell me what little like Navy's gonna allow that shit to happen. Like
yeah.
we're just gonna casually miss this giant streak. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do sort of feel like I do sort of feel like I don't think I'm painting a miniature as much as I feel like I'm almost like painting like a board game piece.
Yeah.
It feels closer to that, yeah?
Yeah, that's why I'm not really trying to do like, highlights and all the other, like just a little bit, but like not excessively.
It would be cool to put little trees on the bases, huh?
Yeah.
Like how tall would a tree be compared to these guys? Trees have different
You'd
height.
have to go and look at that.
Yeah.
When you play MechWarrior 5, you can just it feels like you're standing way taller up. But like some of these are like 30 meters tall.
That's like 100 feet, right?
Yeah.
No, 30 meters. 10 meters.
There's a story, so like 3-4 stories up.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's bigger than a knight, smaller than a titan.
These guys are also pretty crowded on their bases, huh? Have you noticed this?
Yeah, so back in the day, it was really
OGW
weird.
used to be too, right? Like they've
Yeah, well, there used to be metal, right, back in the day, but
yeah.
they also were all the exact same size, regardless of like how big it was. Whereas now they've tried to do it more size accurate. Like the Atlas is just going to be bigger than like, so you have a better visual sense of like this is just a bigger mech.
Let me see that. Let me see that stupid thing. This is the dumbest mech I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you feel it in combat, and you just realize that like
Is he good?
yeah, 2 battle fists, like an AC-20, like weapons for all brackets.
He's got little missiles on the side, missiles up here. He's got a little gun here. He's got his big gun on his here.
Yeah, it's a generalist. You have weapons for all engagement brackets.
He's good. He's
Yeah,
pretty good.
so like as certain so like unlike 40K, well you used to have this,
Oh
right?
my god, I hate this.
Where like how like Earthshaker cannons, like you had a dead zone.
Yeah. Oh, like in front of you? Yeah. Does he have that?
Yeah, certain weapons like missiles, like long range missiles.
They have a minimum range.
Well, you can still fire them, but you get, like every hex, like too close, you suffer a penalty.
Oh, okay.
So, you can maybe get super lucky, but you shouldn't be trying to fish for it, right? Because there's also like unlike 40K, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you want to fire it, because now you incur a heat penalty for firing it. Plus, like if it's not its ideal bracket, you have like accuracy modifiers.
Is the dumbest mech I've seen. Oh wait, okay. You have 2 other ones that are super cool. First, can you show off your guy with the jetpack fume? This is pretty cool.
This is the Crusader.
Yeah. This I like. I like this guy. I like the jetpack. That's super cool. I'm into that. I want to get one of them.
Yeah.
And then
Like this guy also has an alternate pose with the flames, like the jetpack flames as well. A Highlander.
Highlander. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So he has this thing called the I think it's called like the Grave Maker or whatever. Like, but these guys also like came with jump packs. It also comes with a railgun, but like they're known for just like doing a death from above, where you just land in a smaller mech and just try and crush it.
Oh, interesting. Who's this guy with like the long gun on his right arm there?
Which one? This guy?
Yeah, this guy's super cool.
This is the Black Knight.
Yeah, I like him. He looks super cool.
They're a solid, pure energy boat. You think you get like a large laser, 2 medium lasers, and I think like 3 small lasers or something.
Chris says he wishes the models were about double the size. That would be fun. What do you
Yeah,
think?
but then like the problem is then your hexes, like, because it's like a 1-inch hex.
It is pretty.
And so like the relation of hexes to like common, try to reuse maps and stuff, that's where things start breaking down.
It'd be a little less convenient of a game to play, which makes sense, right? Oh my god. So you had a good stopping point, KK?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Just a couple housekeeping things for everybody, real quick as a reminder. Do remember that Devin's basing workshop for mandrills, of which I know there are many of you in here, is coming up. This is like 4 days from now, which means Saturday. I think Saturday. Yeah. So do keep that in mind. Tomorrow, we don't have a schedule for this, but tomorrow we will be streaming at 6 p.m. as we watch as we watch the reveal show. So be on the lookout. We'll post it up tomorrow as a reminder. We'll post in the Discord. But we want to be there for the AOS reveal show. We've decided we're not going to stick around for the Spearhead game that's getting played. Sunday. Sorry. Thank you, Soups. I appreciate it. Sunday. The Devin's workshop is on Sunday, not Saturday. The Spearhead game, they're talking AOS for about an hour, and then they're gonna do a Spearhead game. We're not gonna stream during that. We're gonna let you guys whoever wants to watch it. I know I'll be watching it. So there's that. Saturday also we're not doing an AOS game because we don't want to compete with the cool reveal show. Especially it's third ed. I know things are dying down as we are getting excited for fourth ed Sigmar. So we will be watching that, doing a stream, a watch along stream for that as well. So we will be there Saturday, 10 a.m., same time as always, but the show will be different. So if you're showing up expecting a Sigmar game, not this Saturday, but it will happen. We'll be back next Saturday, and we'll be back Monday. Monday's like John and Brad, I think, something like that. KK, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'm excited to play. We'll see if we can get a game in Friday, maybe. We'll see. I also don't know if I can do it, but we'll check the schedule, and we'll see. If Bryce can do it, I'll try to make it happen. Awesome, folks. I think that's about everything. Thanks to our mandrills, as always. Big thanks to Cass today. Cass showing up, donating a lot of memberships. We super appreciate that. So thank you so much, everybody. I think we did everything. Once again, thanks KK, who will hopefully have him on stream more. We actually, at some point, after we get a few games under our belt, would like to stream a Battletech game over in the studio, and we think it'll be pretty funny and interesting. I think we'll have to have little graphics for each guy. It'll be kind of funny. We'll see what we can do. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. As we like to say, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, and always be creating. Bye, folks.